Welcome to The Explainer. So today we're unpacking the absolute meteor-sized impact that artificial intelligence is having on careers all across the globe. Look, we are quite literally living through a once-in-history turning point right now, and navigating it correctly, well, that could turn a potential crisis into the single greatest opportunity of our lifetimes. To really grasp the sheer scale of what's happening, we need to talk about the speed of technological adoption. Historically, it took a massive 46 years for electricity to reach just 1/4 of American homes. 46 years. I mean, that gave society decades to adjust, figure things out, and adapt.
Now contrast that timeline with the internet. The internet rapidly accelerated global adoption to reach that exact same milestone in just 7 years. So the pace of change was definitely speeding up, but we could still somewhat wrap our heads around it.
Now, what's really interesting about this is the sheer unprecedented velocity we are facing today. ChatGPT hit explosive, massive adoption in merely 5 days. 5 days! This isn't some slow, predictable wave. It's an immediate, compounding shift that is already altering the very foundation of how the world works.
And don't worry if those numbers sound a bit terrifying, because here is exactly how we're going to navigate this and find a clear path forward. First, the AI disruption wave. Second, the pattern recognition trap. Third, the jobs that actually survive. And finally, number 4, your AI survival playbook.
All right, Section 1, the AI disruption wave and the velocity of change. Look, this is not just a future problem. In the first 5 months of 2025 alone, a staggering 700,000 job cuts hit the U.S., rippling across major industries from finance all the way to pharma and manufacturing.
Zooming out a bit, the global data paints a pretty sobering picture. Goldman Sachs projects that 300 million jobs worldwide are going to vanish to automation by 2030. To put that into perspective, guys, that is nearly the entire population of the United States, effectively wiped from the traditional workforce. And hey, if you think AI is just kind of nibbling at the edges, think again. AI chatbots are already successfully resolving roughly 80% of frontline customer support queries without any human intervention whatsoever. That is massive, and this immense capability, it's inevitably carrying over into law, accounting, and way beyond. That brings us to Section 2, the pattern recognition trap, and why smart jobs are failing. Let's dive into exactly what makes a seemingly secure, white-collar job so vulnerable to this incoming disruption wave. It really boils down to this ultimate survival test. Can AI or a robot do your job faster, cheaper, and better than you? It's a tough pill to swallow, but the reality we're discovering is that years of studying, or long hours at a desk, they just no longer guarantee safety. Because at the end of the day, it all comes down to patterns. Just think about Tesla for a second. They use cameras and neural networks to recognize insanely complex physical patterns to navigate cars safely at 70 miles an hour. I mean, if AI can process the absolute chaos of a highway through repeatable rules, it can absolutely recognize the predictable patterns of processing invoices, categorizing expenses, or reviewing legal contracts at a desk. But okay, let's shift the narrative here from despair to hope for a minute. Have you ever heard of the economic concept called creative destruction? It's the process where technological progress destroys old jobs, sure, but it creates entirely new industries and wealth in the process. Think back to the 1800s. Refrigerators completely wiped out the job of ice cutters. But that exact same technology gave rise to the massive modern cold chain logistics industry that employs millions today.
And this brilliantly illustrates a choice that's playing out right now. Just look at Kodak versus Adobe. Kodak literally invented the first digital camera in 1975, but they stubbornly buried it to protect their film business, and, well, they went bankrupt. Adobe went the exact opposite route. When generative AI landed, they didn't fight it, they evolved. They baked AI directly into their products, and their stock saw massive, massive growth.
Which leads us perfectly into Section 3, the jobs that survive and finding the human moat. Let's look at where the future of work is actively heading and growing. So, here is the stark dividing line in the future economy. Jobs doomed by repeatable workflows, things like data entry, junior accounting, cashiers, they're fading. Meanwhile, human-centric jobs are heavily protected. Trades, therapists, cybersecurity pros, AI architects, they all rely on a moat of trust, physical dexterity, empathy, and what we can basically call proof of humanity. And the growth in these resilient areas? It's explosive. Cybersecurity spending alone is projected to hit $200 billion by 2030 just to defend against AI threats. Clean energy, biotech innovators, and AI builders are totally surging. But honestly, most excitingly, solo entrepreneurs now have this massive leverage of AI tools to build businesses and literally outproduce what used to take entire agencies to accomplish. It's a real game changer.
All right, let's get into solutions. Section 4, your AI survival playbook. Audit, build, and own. It is time to jump right into the driver's seat of your career.
This right here is your actionable 3-step roadmap. Step 1, audit your job right now for pattern vulnerability and adapt. Step 2, build a path to wealth, maybe by launching a side hustle leveraging AI. And Step 3, own assets. Look, I really cannot stress enough the urgency of taking these steps right now rather than just waiting around for a layoff notice to hit your desk in 2030. Let's look at the economic reality behind that last step, owning assets. Over the last 200 years, U.S. stocks have returned an average of 6.5% above inflation. As technological disruption accelerates and our whole economy shifts, relying purely on a volatile job market is incredibly risky. Owning assets isn't just nice to have, it's an absolute necessity to protect your purchasing power and compound your wealth in changing times. Let's move to and see how this builds into a concrete timeline you can actually apply starting today. Week 1. Audit your career patterns. Month 1. Master just one AI tool and buy your first share of an index fund. Month 3. Ship an AI-assisted offer or a freelance service. And by month 6, automate your workflows and increase your investments. It really is that straightforward to get started.
So, I want to leave you with this provocative final thought. The meteor has already hit. Are you the dinosaur or the mammal? Remember, the exact same event that wiped out the dinosaurs gave rise to the mammals, because they were the most adaptive to change. The distance between where you are right now and where you want to be has literally never been shorter thanks to AI. So, choose evolution over extinction and start building your future today.